I always start with like a little introduction of ourselves. So
Okay.
you also know who you're talking with instead of just always the actor introducing themselves.
Yeah.
Should I begin or do you want to begin?
I would love if you begin just because it's your platform. Then if you want to start, and then I can introduce myself after you.
Okay. I'm Sanne. My name is Sanne. And I'm living in Netherlands. And I have this page since February of this year. I'm 27 years old. My first vertical was pregnant by my ex's dad on wheel shorts. I think that
Awesome.
was it.
All right. Hi, my name is Shanna Sinow. I am an actress in the vertical space. I'm based in Los Angeles, California. My first vertical that I was a lead in was Mr. Vampire Wants Me Every Day, and I'm super excited to do this interview with you.
Can you share a little fun fact about yourself?
Oh, there's so many of them. I feel like now everybody knows this one, but I'm a twin. Um, and so I've always just had like a permanent best friend growing up. So I think that's pretty fun. Yeah.
Yeah, that is a lot of fun. I wish I had a sister.
I've got a sister and a brother. So I've just always had best friends just permanently there. It's been really, it was a nice way to grow up, and having a twin, it's like a different kind of bond because you're in the same age group, you have all the same friends. I have a lot of people ask me like the differences, which I guess I don't have much to compare it to because my older sister's so much older than me. But yeah, I think it helped with like my socialization and stuff growing up having a twin.
Okay. How did you start with pursuing acting?
I started from a very young age. I started acting honestly in like preschool, and I would do little skits at my church. And then I always loved to like sing, so then I wanted to be a singer, and then I wanted to be a dancer. So like I always wanted to perform. And then finally, when I was like 12, I did my first play, and I was like, okay, so I love acting. So then I kept doing that, and I got into high school, and I just felt that it was like what I was meant to do, is what I had the most fun doing. I couldn't see myself doing anything else. I actually almost went to school to be a English teacher, and then my theater teacher at the time was like, "Are you crazy? You need to go for acting." So then he's really the reason. Brad Racker's his name, was his name, but he's the reason I ended up going into acting in college, and then that's what kind of led me here.
How did you learn about verticals?
So I actually remember the first time I started getting ads for them. It was one of Mariah Moss's. It was this werewolf one, and I was getting ads for it on my TikTok. So this is how I heard about them. But I was in a production of Romeo and Juliet in college. I was playing Mercutio. And so I had a lot of time backstage because, I don't know if you know this, but Mercutio dies at the end of Act 1.
Yeah.
Spoiler alert. But so I was backstage and I was scrolling on TikTok, and I started getting these really addictive like series ads, and I kept getting them for the same one, and I was like, where do I find the rest of this? And I couldn't, and it was crazy. And then like within a week of me seeing my first one on TikTok, I found an audition for them on the Kansas City Film Actors Facebook page. And I was like, oh, this werewolf thing sounds like the things I've been seeing on my TikTok. That would be fun to do. It looks like they have a lot of fun in those. I would love to do one. And so then I submitted. So it was like a really short period of time to hearing for one to when I submitted for my first one. And then that one I ended up playing a day player in.
Oh yeah, I know.
How did you hear about your first vertical? What was like, were you kind of targeted with the ads on Instagram too?
Yeah. This is the first time that somebody learned about them the same way as I did. That's funny.
Yeah, it's like you get targeted and then you get hooked and you're like, what happens next? And I was one of those people. I got targeted with it. But then my mindset was like, well, this looks like something I could do. Like, I think I would have a lot of fun doing this style of acting. And then I found the auditions for them, which was, it just felt like it all kind of was right place, right time.
Then it's meant to be, I always say.
I agree.
This is a favorite question of mine. Which of your characters did you feel the most connected with?
Different days, I feel connected with different characters. I try to bring a piece of myself into everything I've played. Um, oh man, this is hard. I really did connect with Annie in I Accidentally Slept with My Professor, which is that's on Viglu with Casey Esser, and she's like this straight A student, always striving to be the best, and she kind of like wants to have this nice girl persona. She wants everybody to like her, but she also stands up for herself and is very strong. And Nick helps her learn how to be stronger as well. And honestly, my journey lately, it just feels very reminiscent of her. I always grew up really striving to get good grades, straight A's. I kind of had this need for everyone to like me all the time. And lately, like through growing up and doing verticals and meeting new people, I'm like learning how to stand up for myself and how to be myself and be strong and confident, kind of the same way Annie did in I Accidentally Slept with My Professor. So at least in terms of like growth, I really relate to her, and I see a lot of myself, especially in the writing of her. I just really related to that character quite a bit. And then I also Fight for Love was kind of one of my first like really big hits that I did, and
Love it.
that one.
Love it.
Thank you. I'm glad. I'm glad that one was so much fun to shoot. But Delaney, I admire her strength a lot, and I would like to relate to that because I think the way that she loves so hard and so much, and has so much love for so many people in her life, and because of that, everyone supports her. And I feel so unbelievably supported by all of my friends and my family, and even like fans. Like, you guys are all so amazingly supportive, and in the way that Delaney is able to find support in other people, I feel so fortunate to also be able to find support from all the people that care about me.
I wanted to say something, but I don't remember. Maybe I
We'll come
will
up with
later.
yeah.
Are those two then your favorite ones you did, or do you have another favorite one?
Oh man, I have favorites all the time. And I'll go back and watch my own depending on how I'm feeling, because I think I've been very fortunate to do a lot of unique scripts um, in my short vertical career so far. But I will say those are two of my like favorite favorites. I'm really proud of like my acting in them and then the way they turned out. They're just both projects I'm extremely proud of. And I'm proud of all of my verticals, but those two in particular, I I like how much of me is in them. Another one is actually my newest one that just came out. I had so much fun shooting it. Single Mom by Mistake, CEO Wife by Fate. That one's with Ryan Ray Vincent. And that one is another one that lately has just been one of my favorites because I had so much fun and I got to connect with everybody so much on that shoot. And even if it can be pretty vertical at times, I love those like vertical tropes. And I think like there's different categories. So like in terms of rom-coms, I think my favorite is Mr. is I Accidentally Slept with My Professor. For dramas, I really like Fight for Love. And then like out of my ones that have a lot of the vertical tropes, like the slaps and the
Yeah.
mistaken identities, I think that um my most recent one, CEO Wife by Fate, that one I think is my favorite with like all of the different really fun vertical things that I got to do.
That's another one I love, but I already told you that. The next is a fun question. Is there a place that you filmed that you never been before out of the UK?
Like somewhere I've filmed out of the country that I've never been to before shooting.
Yeah.
I had never been out of the United States actually at all until my first. It was my second vertical job, like lead, but my first vertical out of the country, which that was Fight for Love and Escaping the Bridezilla, and I went to Vietnam for those. And I've talked about this before, but I absolutely loved Vietnam. Ho Chi Minh City was so beautiful, and the people were so accepting and loving. And I think for my first time, not only traveling by myself, because it was my first time traveling by myself, and it was my first time out of the country. It was an amazing first experience that I was able to have. And then also I filmed a couple of them in China, and that was my first time in China too. And I ended up filming in two different cities, and they were completely different, and I got to experience all different kinds of culture and food, and I ate so many of, they were these little berries called yang mei, and they're like red and they have little pits in them, and it's the most delicious fruit I've ever had in my life. And I think you can only get them in China like a certain time of the year, and that just happened to be when I was there. So I hope to travel some more. I know they shoot in like Italy now and Turkey, and I'm hoping to like be able to try everywhere and be able to have all of those experiences. Um, but yeah, everywhere I've traveled for verticals has been completely new to me. Even when I went to New York, I had never been to New York before. Um, so yeah, it's been my first time that I came to LA for a vertical was my first time in LA. So I've just been able to, within the past year, do so much just because of this new industry that has popped up.
Is there a country that you want to go to really bad for just traveling? So not
Just
for
traveling.
work?
Um, I don't know. I like anywhere with a beach. I would love to go to Greece. I think that would be. Um, but also, like, I took German growing up, so I'd love to go to like Germany and Denmark and the Netherlands, that whole area, just because I learned a lot about it culturally when I was younger. And I think I don't remember much German, unfortunately. I know like a little kleine, like a tiny bit, but I would still love to go and experience all of this culture that I'd learned about growing up.
Did you learn about the Netherlands? Did you say that?
A little bit. We talked about it somewhat, just because we were talking about Europe in general
Oh,
in
yeah.
that class, and um, and the different languages and then the similarities and what they picked up from each other, and then is primarily Germany, obviously, but I still got to hear bits and pieces of other things and where culture comes from in different areas in Europe. So
Oh, that's sounds really fun. What was your most challenging role or scene that you have done so far?
most challenging role or scene that I've done so far. Everyone has had its own challenge. Um, Man, I need like 2 seconds to think about it because because I'm so new, everyone I do has something a little bit different. I think um Okay. So something in my most recent one that was pretty challenging was I have a child and single mom by mistake. And personally me, I don't have younger siblings and I'm not a mother yet. So it's not an experience I've necessarily had. And I've played a mother before, but that character didn't really have any kids. Like she finds out it's her son later. So it's not the same. This I really had to, my character is very maternal. And so Gordon's mom was on set. Her name's Rena. She's absolutely wonderful. But I kind of observed the way that she interacted with him and would pull experience. And I would ask her questions too, like, and her and Gordon both, like, is it okay if I put my hand on like his back here, make sure everybody's comfortable, but also to know how they interacted and what would be best and look the most like chemistry wise on camera, like he was my son. Because I also know like I look young, and so I have to really play into those maternal things to sell that he is my son. So that was in a really fun way. That was challenging. It was something new that I got to explore that I've never done before. Um, oh, and in that one I got to do a headbutt. Learning how to do a headbutt was really hard. So there's a scene you've seen where I'm like fighting in my workplace, and I
Yeah.
and I just man really rocked this girl, and um, I've done stunts before. I'm like certified in stage combat, but not film stunts. Like that's not something I've specialized in necessarily. I just know the basics. And so trying to figure out how to get a headbutt to sell for camera was really challenging. But man, when we got it, I like cheered. And so I have yet to get to that part of the film. I need to. It finally like officially released today. It's not on just like early access anymore. So I should
Yeah.
be able to unlock easier. Um, so I want to go through and find that scene because it man, that was the challenge. But we ended up getting a really good shot of it, and it was very exciting. Sorry that was long winded, but I thought of that last second.
did did you prepare did you prepare for that before you did that?
we So that scene, we practiced it and we went through everything without the cameras. So we knew the choreography really well, but getting the cameras once you start filming it, things have to still continue to shift, even if we already know it. So I, like I said, I have some training in staged combat. Like I took some classes in college, and I'm like certified level 1 Dueling Arts International. I don't know what that means, but it's on my resume. And so I know like you need to make sure you're making eye contact. This is the angle for it to sell if the camera's right behind me. But this was just something new that I hadn't done before, and we had talked about it, and she had explained it to me. But also with fight choreography, you kind of it's even if you have a plan in your head, when you're in the moment, you might be like, oh, this doesn't flow. So you have to have a little bit of you can have a little bit of freedom being like, okay, this might flow better. So that was I think part of it as well, figuring out how to make the movements flow, and then it was a lot of learning on the spot, which is verticals in general because they're so fast paced.
What was the longest you have done so far, like in days? Because I know some have 14.
The longest I've done is 10, and that actually was single mom by mistake. That was a 10-day shoot,
Oh, wow.
which that's you're really able to focus on the scenes whenever you have a shoot like that. And I think part of it was also when you have a child actor, the hours are different and stuff. So I think that could have been part of the reason why it was 10 days. But most of the time when I shoot, they're like 7. 7 is probably the average. I've done some 5-day shoots, which those are very stressful, and then some like 8-day shoots. So like I think average is about 7.
Yeah, I heard that before that 5 days were stressful. Is that
Just a little bit.
because you need to do like more, even more in 5 days?
It's usually so it's usually the same amount of pages as a longer shoot, or it may be a few less, but I think it comes down to budget and turnover, and just depends on the platform you're working for. And then I've noticed when you work overseas, usually it's less days because they have to fly you out there as well. So that can be a little different too. And so it I think just depends on um, scheduling and stuff as well. It's just a lot of different factors. I prefer like an 8-day shoot. I think that's the sweet spot for me personally because you for verticals just because there's so much packed in. 5-day shoots can be fun. They just you tend to go a lot of like since and those are overseas, so it's like overtime, but the days are just longer. I think it's kind of how it balances.
If you could step into any show or movie that's not a vertical, which one would you step into?
Oh, that's so hard. Pirates of the Caribbean. I think it'd be Pirates of the Caribbean. I love the time period. I think pirates are so fun. I like the ships and the costumes. Um, I would. It's okay. I just bring some oranges so I don't get scurvy. But I think that would be my top one. Um, plus Jack Sparrow is such a fun guy. I'd love to meet him.
Yeah. Pirates of the Caribbean is really fun to watch.
It's one of my favorites.
Before we go into the next, is there something you want to know about me?
Something I love to hear is like from everyone I've interviewed is I want to know your favorite genre of vertical because I know there's like verticals are their own genre. Obviously, it's complete own category. But then within that, there's like these subcategories, and you have dramas and rom coms, and there's actions and high fantasy and all kinds of stuff. So I'd love to know your favorite.
My favorite is ones that are not really out of love, and that is horror.
I would love to do a horror one. Oh my gosh, that'd be so fun.
Or like a really good vampire one. I know there are some of them, but like I'm a really big Vampire Diaries lover,
Okay.
so like a little from that.
Okay. I do like the vampire ones are fun to shoot. They're my
Maybe
favorite high fantasy one.
you have done quite a few of them, right? If I'm right.
I've done one vampire one and one werewolf one. My werewolf one, I was a smaller character. My first one was Mr. Vampire Wants Me Every Day. And it was interesting to be like, okay, here's going to be VFX and special effects and stuff like that. But I would love to do another vampire one where like I get to be a vampire because in that one I wasn't really. I get turned into one. Spoiler alert if you haven't seen it. But yeah, I would love to. So you like vampires, and then what was the other one you said? There's not as many of them.
Horror.
Horror, yeah. I think we'll see more because Real Short just released not too long ago, like a found footage stalker horror one. So I think
Yeah.
we might start seeing more of them.
I would love that.
Me too.
And
Maybe I'll write one for you.
and also like comedy. I always into comedy.
The comedies are some of my favorites to shoot that I've done. So it's nice to hear somebody likes the rom-com ones because I know there's a ton of dramas out there.
No, I love it. What's on your bucket list? Is the next question.
What's on my bucket list?
Yeah.
My vertical bucket list or my life bucket list?
Whatever you want to tell me.
Okay. Man, we'll go with my like acting vertical bucket list because it's kind of long. I have a lot of different things. I want to do all of it. I want to hit all the tropes. I want to do like a big werewolf one where I'm able to play like one of the Lunas or something. I would love to be able to explore that. I really like the cowboy verticals. There aren't a ton of them, but there's enough that they're like I would love to do both one where the male lead is a cowboy and also one where like I'm a cowgirl and then he's the city boy. I want to get thrown in a pool. I haven't gotten thrown in a pool in a vertical yet.
Oh.
I feel like that's a pretty common trope that you see, and I just haven't had that happen to me yet. And I want to get thrown in a pool. I think that would be fun. And I would love to do a vertical with I want to be able to work with as many platforms as possible because they all do different kinds of stuff, and I think that's very interesting. I do really want to work with Candy Jar just because they do like really different stuff, and I think that would be. I like to both do like the traditional vertical tropes, and then I also like to do ones that like kind of break outside that mold. I like being able to dip into both kind of
Yeah.
types of scripts. So yeah, I don't know how many that was, but that's my vertical bucket list so far. There's more things like I would love to be a mermaid. I saw that there's some mermaid verticals out. I want to do a mermaid one. In the same vein, I want to do a pirate one. And then like something high action where like I get to do a lot of fighting because I have a lot of because I have a dance background. I love like combat because it's very similar. It's choreography. So I want to be able to like do some like big fun fights. I think that would absolutely rock.
I think I have only seen one like really focused on fighting.
Yeah.
It's also real short.
Fight for Love was pretty focused on fighting. I just
Still,
didn't get to do the
yeah.
fighting. That was all Tyler.
But I mean, like that one that I mean is like girls fighting.
Oh, girls fighting, yeah. There's one on Viglu. Oh, I forget what it's called, like the Love Switch or something.
Yeah.
But that one's with Nicole Maddox, and she got to be like a Muay Thai. Nicole Maddox and Luna Serenova are boxers in that one, or kickboxers.
Oh yeah, yeah. Yeah, that sounds really fun. What is one of your most memorable moments on set?
Um, a really recent one is so in Single Mom by Mistake, CEO Wife by Fate. The Ryan's character is giving Gordon, he plays Lucas, money to like try to give him hugs. He's like, or call him dad. He's like, can you call me dad? I'll give you this stack of cash if you call me dad. And we were shooting that, and Gordon was so excited about the money gun because he sprays it in the air, and it was like we were all getting him like riled up, and I'm outside the door, and from outside I'm hearing Ryan go, "And another one. You want some more? Here's some more money," and like giving him the stacks of cash, and he's like, "And you know what? Oh ho ho ho!" And he takes out this money gun, and Gordon's like, "Oh yeah!" And then he's spraying it in the air, and I come inside, and then Gordon goes, "Mommy," and then Ryan goes, "Mommy," and it was just I could not keep it together. It was that day was so much fun, and then anytime we were like, "Gordon, you need to be excited. Remember how you were with the money gun?" And he'd be like, "Oh yeah, the money gun," and then he would lock in for like whatever scene he was supposed to be excited for because he would remember how excited he was about the money gun, and because he was so excited about it, it made it into the poster shot because he just loved the money gun so much. Like it was so much fun. Oh, and on the same one when we're laying in the bed and they like tie us together with the rope, Ryan and I could not stop laughing and we had to do like 3 runs before we actually shot. So like they were setting up cameras. I was like, Ryan, we have to go through this because I'm not gonna be able to keep it together if we don't practice doing this without laughing. Because that scene was just so funny, and like it was hot and sweaty, and we're both like slap happy and giggly, and that whole shoot was just because it's a rom-com. I think the energy was so good, and Gordon had such a fun energy to him as well that I think just brought everybody up whenever he was on set.
Now I need to rewatch it again. I want to see that again.
Oh, thank you. That one, it was so much fun to shoot, and the whole team was just amazing. Every project I've worked on, I've had such amazing teams. Just that one is most recent, so it's the one I'm thinking of the most.
Just recent in your mind.
Yeah, recent in my mind. Totally.
Can I say I laughed when I saw your thing you said about for Casey?
What did I say about Casey?
If he.
Oh, when I said that if he was going to be driving through McDonald's, giving any donations to McDonald's anytime soon,
Yeah.
I hope you'll have to let him know that was me if you ask him about it. But do you know the story of, do you know the McDonald's story of Casey and I?
Mm,
Okay.
I don't
If
think.
you don't know what so I'll explain my question. So I accidentally slept with my professor. I was staying with Casey because I wasn't a local here at the time. So I had gotten the offer for that project, and they let me know. It was just basically they could house me, but it would be easier if I could stay with somebody else. So I texted Casey because I'd worked with him twice at this point, and I was like, I know him pretty well. I would feel comfortable staying with him, but we weren't like super close at this point yet. And he was like, I don't know, my apartment's really small, but if you can't find anybody else, let me know. And then I ended up being like, okay, it's these dates. And he's like, wait, hold on. What project is this? And I told him. And he's like, oh my gosh, I'm on that too. We have to stay together. So I ended up staying in his like office on an air mattress. But anyways, one day after set, I was hungry, and he was very kind, and he was helping me pick up some food. Um, and I was like, McDonald's is open, it's late, we'll just go through there. So we went to McDonald's, but we were on live stream, and he was too busy answering questions and missed the speaker to order food. And I was like, Casey, how am I gonna order? And he's like, I don't know. How do we do it? And I was like, well, just take me to the window and we'll order at the window. So he forgot to order at the speaker. Then we order at the window, and they're like, this happens all the time. It's fine, whatever. They're like kind of annoyed at us, but it's okay. So we pay and we order at the window. And then Casey leaves the drive-through. And so he got on this live stream, he clipped it, and me going, Casey, my food! And he's like, oh, shoot. And then he starts backing up through the McDonald's drive-through, and then he stops at the window, and he's like, hey, we got food, but we accidentally left, and now we're back. And they were like, did you really? And we were like, yes. And so we have to see your receipt, because they thought we were trying to steal someone else's food that we had just backed into the driveway. And so I give them the receipt, and they're like, oh, fine. Like, they were so upset, and I think they thought we were like high, and we weren't. We were just tired, and I think he's never been through a drive-through before in his life. But anyway, so he posted that clip, and then for like 2 days afterwards, he was getting DMs being like, he used McDonald's as a toll booth. He gave a donation to McDonald's. He's never used a drive-through before. Like, we were laughing about that for days afterwards because it was on live. So there were like, I think there were like 80 people who just watched him forget my food at McDonald's after I had already paid. So that's why I asked him if he had made any donations to McDonald's recently.
Now I can't wait for his reaction.
I'm glad I was able to explain that to you because I think out of context it makes no sense.
No, that's true. Do you think he will know that it's coming from you?
I don't know if he'll know it's coming from me, but he will know what you're talking about. He will know exactly what you're talking about. He might think it was from, like, other people make jokes about it still too. So he might think it's one of his fans, but he'll definitely know that it's like what you're making a reference to.
If you guys like McDonald's, then there are like three in my corner almost around my house.
Oh yeah, we can go donate to the McDonald's by your house. I'm sure they need the money. Man, if you can find that clip, I think it's still up on his Instagram, but it's literally me going, Casey, my food! And he posted it, and it's so funny. If you ever get the chance to go watch it.
I'm gonna look for it now. And now I don't know where I was anymore with my questions.
Sorry, went on a whole tangent there, but I had to tell you that story, so
No,
that would
I
be why
love
I
it.
asked.
It's kind of funny. Everybody that worked with Casey tells little stuff about Casey. Yeah, it's funny.
Such a funny guy.
I can't wait for my talk with him in a few days.
He'll have a fun time. He's such a great guy.
Yeah. But the next question was, what do you think people underestimate about verticals?
How deep they can be. There's a lot of like surface level emotion in verticals. And on the one I most recently shot, which that one won't be out for a while, but we would get into really deep talks about what the characters were feeling in this moment and how complex the situations really were. And I mean, if you think about it, a lot of this stuff, like it's played up super dramatically, but if you think about how someone would really feel in that moment, it's things that could happen that would reasonably make someone feel a certain type of way. Like it's crazy that in my most recent one, this girl is marrying this random guy for her son, but stuff like that happens. You know, like
Yeah.
just because it's strange doesn't mean it never happens. And then thinking about in that moment, okay, this girl adopted a kid, and now his real dad is back in his life, who abandoned him.
Mm-hmm.
How would that make someone feel? And I feel like a lot of people don't think about how deep that is. And I think whenever I do, it helps with my acting. If I think about what someone would do if this happened to them really. Because yes, verticals have some really crazy tropes and over the top, and they're secret billionaires. But I mean, like when I did Swipe Right with Tyler, his character develops an app, a dating app, and then wants to test it out. It makes sense that he wouldn't want to tell my character that he's the billionaire who started the app because he's trying to prove that it works. So then I'm trying to put myself in her shoes of what would I do if I found out the guy I had met on a dating app had developed the app? Would I feel betrayed? Would I understand? And it's really interesting to think about. And I feel like a lot of people get so caught up in how crazy the situations are that they forget that like crazy things happen to real people all the time.
Yeah, totally.
So yeah.
I have seen that in a lot of them, to be honest. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, what you're saying, there's some of them, not all of them, have deeper things behind it.
Yeah.
That's really interesting.
Sometimes they're just surface level fun, but sometimes they can have like really deep, complex emotions that real people feel.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like the next we already kinda got into it, but I'm still gonna say it. What you would like to see more in verticals?
We did talk about it a little bit. I'd love to see more horror. I would also love to see more like action comedies. Like, I think you could do like something with a ton of action and romance and comedy, and it would really play well in a vertical sense. Like Indiana Jones, that's an action, but it also has comedy and it has a lot of romance. And so there's, instead of it like the end of episodes always being like some kind of emotional conflict, you could have physical conflict. It could be before an intimacy scene, it could be before some kind of big kiss or a big joke. Like, there'd be way more ways to end each episode if you included more genres within like one. Like, so like an action romance comedy sounds like a lot, but it would work in Vertical World because they want the big hook at the end of every episode.
Yeah, that's.
Plus, I would like doing one.
I totally agree with that. Mm, and what if you could completely create your own show? What would you do? Like the action thing you're talking about?
I have a script that I really want to write that would be like a big dream of mine, where it's kind of akin to Lost, where they crash on a plane on an island and then they're stuck together, and it's kind of like an enemies to lovers. So it's got kind of like the action with the plane crash, but they're falling in love and they're trying to get saved and rescued. And I think that would be that's one I would love to write and try to produce, because I think it would be different, but it would still have a lot of the similar like romantic, funny stuff that you could still include. So that's kind of like my dream. It's an idea that I haven't quite put together. Maybe I'll hook up with a writer and they can help me like put things down. But that's like a dream one that I would love to like produce and cast and put all together.
Ooh, that sounds really, really, really fun. Do you like producing?
I never have. If I was going to, I'd probably do something similar to how Casey does, where he picks scripts he's passionate about and then puts himself as the lead. And not like, I would, just because I would be doing it to be able to do things that I'm passionate about, to do stories that I want to tell that mean a lot to me. Um, so I would love to try producing one if I ever had like the financial means to be able to do that. I think it'd be very interesting. So maybe someday. But I think for now it would be me trying to like sell a script with like trying to like being like, I'll sell it to you if like you'll at least audition me for it, would probably be what I would do, because I understand at least my work would be out there even if they cast somebody else, but I'd at least want the opportunity to audition something that I had written.
Yeah, I get that. That's just, yeah, your script then.
As an actor, I'm writing something I'm passionate about and would love to act in, you
Yeah,
know?
I get that. It's funny you're talking about got stranded on an island, and that's one of my questions.
Oh, really? Awesome.
But I have first another one. If,
Okay.
if you have to recommend a vertical, one with you and one without you, which one would you recommend?
A vertical without me
And one,
and one with me.
yeah.
Okay. Um, oh man. I There's so many verticals that I'm not in that I just think are absolutely amazing. I think Nicole Maddox is such a wonderful actress, and I would always recommend anything with her, just because she brings so much realism to her work. But there's a story, it's one of my favorite premises that I've ever seen, and I think it has a lot of fun in it. It's Love, Lies, and Alibis on Viglu. Um, it's actually one I auditioned for because I loved the script so much. But I mean, the cast of that is amazing, and Jackie Bowe is in it, and I love Jackie Bowe. She plays the older woman who um, is at the party. But I like how it's kind of like Clue adjacent, and I think that one is so fun. Um, but I don't know. There's so many just amazing verticals out there. I honestly, even though it isn't out yet, I would definitely recommend Love Under Fire to people because I think, which is it's Casey's that he produced that
Hmm.
hasn't. They just finished filming a couple weeks ago. Um, because it's something he's so passionate about, I feel like it's going to end up being really good. And then one of mine that I would recommend. Oh man. Um, lately I've been recommending my newest one like crazy because I had so much fun shooting it, and it's something I'm very proud of. I also would recommend Fight for Love to people just because it was something I was passionate about, but also because it ended up getting a lot of popularity. I feel like there's something for everybody in it. Um, so just because I think it would hit a lot of different fan bases, I think that one is one of mine that I would recommend. Um, and then True Gentleman is another one I recommend to people a lot because I think the plot, the 1920s, and it's so interesting and different, and you haven't seen something like it before. Um, and I feel like the writer of that, Eric Stone, who also directed it, I think that script, because he did so well on it, deserves a lot of attention. And that's another one that I recommend to people pretty often.
I agree for sure with the first two. I just the question that I had in my head came back. Do you watch like your own shows you're in?
Yeah, I love watching my own verticals. One, because so I have a lot of friends who like to, they're not necessarily vertical fans, but they like to watch what I do. So we'll get like big watch parties together and we'll like all pool money and put it on the TV and we'll watch my verticals that way. And I think it's really fun to have that kind of energy with everybody there, and we'll laugh at the funny things and be like, oh, I can't believe she slapped her again, and be able to have fun with it that way. But also because I like to look back at what I've done and think about what I can do to grow moving forward and try to learn from watching myself. And also, it's good to be able to learn how to watch your own stuff, I think, and enjoy it and not nitpick everything you do. We as actors are often so particular and so judgmental of ourselves. And I try to, I'll watch stuff that I do with a little bit of judgment, but I'll try to watch it a second time to just enjoy it. Or like the first time is just to enjoy it, and then the second time is to like nitpick and figure out what I can do different. So most of my verticals, I give them two run throughs so that I can, one, have like a really just enjoy it and reminisce and remember all the amazing actors I worked with, and then I'll watch a second time to go through and be like, okay, I liked this. I'd love to do more of this in the future. Oh, this reaction wasn't as realistic as I would like. What can I do to make it different?
I think that's really what. How do I say that? Makes it more fun also for you, I think, to look back on,
Yeah,
because you spend a lot of time making these.
yeah, it's a big part of my life, and I think it's important to be able to like enjoy what you do in every way. Some people don't watch their own, and I also totally get that. Sometimes it's hard to watch yourself.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah,
For example, for me, it's also sometimes really weird to watch things like this back.
yeah, which I totally get. It's taken a long time to be able to sit down and enjoy watching what I do.
Yeah.
And it just comes from years of submitting my own self tapes and recording monologues and having to be able to, because I mean, if you always nitpick, you'll never enjoy your take and you'll never submit the audition. So learning how to be like, okay, that was a good one, and then submit that audition, I think is important.
Yeah. Now comes the island question.
Okay.
If you were stranded on an abandoned island and you can't get out of there, what for 3 things would you bring with you?
Okay. Um, my copy of Gone Girl. It's a book, and I've read it 5 bazillion times, and I've never gotten bored of it. So, I think that is the book that I would bring, or I would bring a book to keep myself entertained because I feel like you could go crazy on an abandoned island. Um, uh, man, that's hard. The biggest lighter I could possibly find. I've never had a lighter run out of fluid. I know it can happen eventually, but I know you can learn how to make fire, but I don't have that kind of patience. So I think maybe a lighter, and a fishing pole. I think that's what I'm gonna say.
Yeah, those are
And I think
really.
I can live pretty long that way. Um, because I can use the lighter to make fire, and I can boil water to sanitize it, and I can get protein from fishing. Yeah, I think that's my answer. A book for entertainment, a lighter, and a fishing pole. I love fishing. That's a fun fact about me. So, um, also that would be for fun too.
Now, really, my favorite question. If you could give your younger self advice, what would it be?
um, don't be so hard on yourself. I I grew up being pretty insecure, and I was really judgmental of myself, and I was always worried if everybody liked me all the time, which I kind of talked about before.
Mhm.
And I'm happy with who I am today. I think going through those things made me who I am today, but I still think hearing that would have been good for me to hear from myself, knowing that it's all going to turn out okay, so you don't need to be so hard on yourself about it. Because yeah, I think teenage girls go through a lot of insecurity. And the media tells you you need to look a certain way and be a certain way. And I think everybody is beautiful with how they are. Like, there's no one ever needs to change unless, like, you want to grow yourself. But I think everyone is beautiful the way they are and the way they were made. And I just didn't always think that about myself. So I think telling myself not to judge myself so harshly and just to let myself grow would be good.
Sorry, you almost got me emotional.
Sorry.
No, I mean, because I really relate to that.
I think every female does. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Every person, not just women. I mean, it's hard with the media telling you you need to be a certain way and look a certain way. And I think that's been the nice thing about verticals for me is that slowly we're seeing more and more like variations of people. It's not all the same person every time now. We're seeing every day there's more diversity, and of course there's places for it to go, and it can always grow more. It can always get better. But I think if you look at where it was 3 years ago to where it is now, there's been a lot of growth, and I'm
Yeah.
excited to see where it continues to go.
I have 1, 2, 3, for 5, 6 more questions.
Okay. I can talk a little less if you want to.
No, no, you can tell as much as you want.
Okay.
Do you have any routines on set?
I get a coffee every morning. I like an iced coffee, either like a plain oat milk latte or I want it with a little bit of vanilla. But I do an iced coffee every morning. I try to get it from like a local coffee shop if I can. Um, uh, and I, in the makeup chair, will put on my playlist for however I'm feeling through the day. I've got my girly Sabrina Carpenter playlist that I feel if I want some girly pops. I've got like my everything playlist if there's lots of people around and it plays like some classic rock and some like disco and some like in sync. It's got a little bit of everything for everyone to enjoy. Um, and I'll usually have some kind of like a bagel and I have my little breakfast, my moment to myself. Um, I try to get to set like 10 minutes early, but that's really it. Is I have my iced coffee, and then I get oh, and then every day after lunch I get a little sweet treat. It can be candy, it can be chocolate. Sometimes it's like a muffin, but a little treat for myself after lunchtime. Something from like the snack table on set is like those are my musts every day that I do. It's like I have my little coffee in the morning. I listen to my music while I'm getting ready and then I have my little sweet treat at lunch. Beyond like looking at lines and stuff, obviously I do that too. But
Um, I'm now gonna first ask another one that's kind of similar to this. How you prepare for wolves?
I read through the script a couple of times, kind of try to feel out who she is as a person. Um, Whoever I'm playing. Is she sassy? Am I more like quiet and demure? Like what kind of personality are we to try to come in as prepared as possible? Um, I'll go through and figure out what we're doing each day, and I'll look over those scenes kind of day by day. And I always make sure to try to meet the male lead in some capacity before we get on set. I'll usually ask production if he's okay with giving me his Instagram, and if he is, I'll DM him, whoever he may be, just to like introduce myself. Because I think creating that reputation and introducing yourself beforehand is a good way to like get chemistry rolling because chemistry in these is so important and um, sometimes you don't get like a chemistry read so it just depends but I always try to meet the male lead in some capacity before getting on set with him even if it's just like over a text really quick or over email just something to just be like hi my name is Shanna we're going to be working together hope we have a great time stuff like that.
What is something you like to do in your free time?
I like to go on really long walks with a nice cup of coffee. I mentioned coffee is one of my favorite things. I like to go try different coffee shops all the time. That's like, I really like to go try to find a new coffee shop to go to and try something from there. I like to read. I'm reading like an old English, like British murder mystery right now. And I like to just lay out by the pool and feel the sunshine. I'm a beach bum at heart. I wish I could just be at the beach every day. And even being in California, it's hard because it can be a long drive or there's not always great parking. So it is easier to just go to the pool sometimes. But yeah, I also play board games. But my favorite thing to do honestly is acting. So even though it's my career, it's also what I get to do in my free time.
What is the best career advice you ever got?
Submit it and forget it. So It's a little like rhyme, but it reminds me that most auditions you submit for, you're never gonna hear back on. There's stuff that I've like done chemistry reads for, and you really think you're gonna get it, and then you just never hear anything ever again. And that's just how this career field is. It's not, no one's being mean. It's not like a purposeful thing. It's just kind of the standard is to learn. It took me a long time to learn how to just submit to things and then you forget about it and you never think of it again. Because if you do, you'll drive yourself crazy wondering if you got the audition, or if you got the part.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that, and I know a lot of young actors, me included, still like struggle with that. So that's also the best thing I can tell like actors that are starting out there, or even just actors who sometimes find themselves dwelling over an audition they're excited about. And I think we all know this too, but it was someone saying that to me is what made it click in my head, is to
Yeah.
submit it and forget it.
Sometimes I think it's in a lot of things you need to hear things from another person.
Yeah, because it's like you always know that you shouldn't dwell on auditions, but hearing someone like say it to me is just what made that click in my head.
Yeah, I totally get that. Then I have, is there anyone you love to work with that you haven't already?
Um, Man, there's so many. I would love to work with Eric. Um, he seems amazing and very nice. I've he seems very talented as well. And Jeff, oh, I know his last name. Oh shoot.
I know what you mean.
Yes, but he's, oh my gosh, I've heard he's the nicest guy. I would absolutely love to do a project with him. Um, and if I could, even if I was like the evil girl, I would love to be on a set with Nicole Maddox, just because I've mentioned before, I just think she's so talented and I've heard she's so wonderful and so kind. Um, those are all vertical actors, but, and then if I could work with Jensen Ackles, he's
Oh
like
yeah, yeah,
my favorite actor of all time. If I could work with him, that would fulfill every dream.
yeah. Then the last one, and I always end with this one,
Okay.
and that is, if you want to say something to the viewers who are watching your work, or the viewers of our talk right now, or me.
If I want to say something to like talk about, could you repeat that one more time for me?
Yeah, I talked a really quick story. Uh, if you wanted to say something to the viewers who are watching your shows,
Oh, okay. Yeah.
or the viewers of our talk, or me, like as an ending.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Um, I try to say this as often as I can, and this is both to you and just to people, not only who watch my verticals, but verticals in general. Um, is thank you. Like, I wouldn't have a career if it wasn't for so many people out there being so supportive and being able to like do interviews like this and everything and being able to just promote my stuff. And if it weren't for all the fans, all the people who really enjoy verticals, I wouldn't be able to act and do what I love to do. This is what I love to do. My goal kind of in acting is to like bring joy to people and bring an escape, something that they can watch if they're ever upset or sad or just need a distraction. That's kind of like my goal. And because I've always wanted to, cute, I've always wanted to try to make other people happy. I think that's a big something just in my personal self is I like to bring joy to other people. And that's, I think the best way I can do it through acting is to try to make a distraction or just something people can like dive into and forget about all their problems for a little bit. So yeah, just thank you. to all the people who watch Verticals and who enjoy my stuff, because I wouldn't be able to do that if it wasn't for you. I'd love to be able to keep doing that, and I hope that I can have a nice long career of being able to do that for you, but also do that because people enjoy watching my stuff. So yeah, I guess it's just simple. Just thank you, but I really mean it. I really would not have had the most amazing last year of my life if it wasn't for everyone watching.
I loved. So that were all the questions.
Awesome. Those were amazing questions. I liked all the different like avenues you explored and stuff you asked, and I got questions I've never gotten before, which is always fun.
Oh, okay.
Plus, you're so sweet. It's been so lovely talking with you.
Thank you. I love talking with you too. So thank you for joining me and for
Thank you for having me.
responding so quickly. You're so quick responder.
Oh, thanks. I try. I try to give like enough information, but not talk for too long. But also, I don't want to give like one word answers. So I hope that I was able to do that
Yeah.
and give you like some good content and stuff. I'd love to repost stuff you post. I'd love to support your page in any way I can. So yeah,
Thank you. It means a lot. Thank you.
it was lovely talking to you.
Likewise. And I will let you know when I'm gonna post it.
Okay.
I hope you have a good rest of your day.
You too.
And
It was great talking with you. Bye.
bye.